On today's podcast, I had Falisha Redford on, and she is doing so many different things right now, from homeschooling her kids and being a mother to being an ex-drone pilot here in Las Vegas, and now selling over 100 homes a year as a realtor. She's going to share some of her mindset tips and tricks in this podcast, as well as talk about some future goals and what retirement really looks like. So make sure you stay to the end. Now, let's jump into it. Are you looking to grow your real estate investing business? My company, Future Flipper, can help. We've taught hundreds of people all over the country how to flip, wholesale, and buy rental properties. And it doesn't matter where you're at in your investing journey. Whether you're trying to get your first deal or scale your company, Future Flipper can help. We have courses, coaching, and events for all levels of investors. So if you want to take the next step, go to futureflipper.com and book a free consultation to see how we can best help you. Once again, that's futureflipper.com. If you've ever wanted to invest with me on my real estate deals, it's now possible. At Pineda Capital, we're purchasing value-add real estate all across the country. This includes multifamily, commercial, and land development. The best part is, with my network, social media presence, and marketing strategies, we're able to get the very best deals that others don't have access to. You can join in with me on those deals if you're an accredited investor. If you want to learn more, head over to pinedacapital.com to see our current opportunities. Once again, that's pinedacapital.com. Welcome to the Ryan Pineda Show, where our mission is to invest.
I only expect to make money in things that I understand.
Innovate.
It's about believing in the future and thinking that the future will be better than the past.
And inspire. I am much more likely to hit my goal just due to putting it out there.
You're now rocking with the best.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Ryan Pineda Show. Today, I have got a really special guest. She's done a lot in a very short amount of time in the real estate game. She started out as a military vet in the Air Force out here in Vegas, doing that for a very long time, and eventually transitioned into real estate as a realtor, where she's become one of the top realtors in Las Vegas. On top of that, she's also attended some of my Future Flipper events and has a great investment portfolio. There's a whole bunch of things that we're going to talk about in today's episode, but I have none other than Falisha Redford. What's up?
Thank you. Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I know you're a busy man, conquering the world and all.
I think you're probably busier than me. Just hearing about all these clients and deals you got going on, it's a lot.
Oh, it's a lot, but I feel blessed. Everybody's always asking, how do you balance it all? I think that's always the number one question. How do you balance it all? And I don't know. I just wake up excited and happy and grateful. And so that just kind of pushes me.
Ironically, I have a webinar today, but by the time this airs, it'll have already gone. But it's about balance and building businesses. So
yeah,
pretty cool.
You got to constantly strive for that. You have to fight for it. You have to figure out times for things. And it's a constant battle and fight, but it's good. I'm never going to complain about being busy.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to complain about being busy. That's blessed,
Well, let's talk real quick about, we're going to talk about your origin story, but tell me about where you're at today. I know you're married, you've got how many kids now?
Two
kids.
Yep, 2 boys, 9 and 11.
And you're busy being a mom.
And homeschooling.
Oh man. So you got a lot going on.
I saw a post yesterday about homeschooling.
Yeah, you know what's funny about that post? I made it a year ago, that video. And then, my guys, they take snippets of it and whatever. And so they post the snippets a year later when homeschooling is a really big thing because of COVID. And people are like, well, I don't want my kids going to school with masks and all.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, look, this was a year ago.
Yeah.
This is how I felt about homeschooling.
Yeah.
And
you looked a little younger in that clip. That's right, because I saw it and I thought maybe he's just trying to stimulate conversation, because that's a good stimulant right now.
Well, my guys know that. They're like, hey, we got to talk about this. This is relevant. But now the decision's much different than before in regards to homeschooling.
And I never ever thought that I would be homeschooling either. So I think that decision was pushed upon some of us, but I have to say that I love it. I know we're not here to talk about homeschooling, but that is part of me now. That's, I'm a mom, I'm a wife to a firefighter who has a crazy schedule. He is home today. He's been gone for 72 hours. He's home today, and he leaves for another 72-hour shift tomorrow.
Right.
So it's me and my 2 boys doing extracurriculars, homeschooling, realtor.
Yeah.
Of course, we have our investments. I manage our Airbnbs myself.
How many do you guys have now?
3.
Nice.
So we went and picked up 2 after your Big Bear retreat in Big Bear.
Right.
So we've got 2 there. You're going to have to tell me how to like deal with San Bernardino County on another day.
Yeah, trust me. I'm still figuring. I honestly might sell my whole portfolio.
Gosh.
I'm just kind of over 'em.
It's exhausting.
Yeah.
And then we have one in Utah. I have 3 agents under me, a TC, and am growing a real estate name, brand, and company here that is just really thriving.
Yeah.
Really thriving.
How many deals did you guys do, these last couple of years?
So right now, I look back at the 12 months track record. We're doing 100 deals.
Nice.
And this year in 2021, we will do more than 100 deals.
Nice.
We're really breaking down like all of our goals. I've got some really cool, fun things in store for my team come December for some celebratory things because it's just been a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And most of your clients are military, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. Because that comes from my influence. I was initially stationed here at Nellis Air Force Base as a sensor operator instructor. So a lot of people now talk about drones. I flew the MQ-1 and the MQ-9 aircraft. I was a sensor operator, was essentially like a co-pilot position. So there's 2 people flying these things, a pilot and then technically like a co-pilot. I'm only a co-pilot position when we're launching and landing, but when we're up in the air, I would do the ISR, intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance. So I would be operating the cameras, and then when we had to employ weapons, I'd be putting crosshairs on target. So that was kind of my previous life for 13 years.
13 years of essentially doing everything with drones? Was that
Everything
the main
with
thing?
drones. And then I went from the combat side to the instructor side.
Okay.
So I was up, anybody that's knowledgeable of Vegas now may know Creech Air Force Base in the Northwest as a big, huge wing. When I was up there, it's still Indian Springs Auxiliary Field. It was just a tiny little air base. So I've really watched it blossom, and I built so many relationships there, never knowing I was getting into real estate. Like that wasn't even on the horizon at all.
Right.
But you just build a name for yourself in life, and that was kind of, I built my name and my reputation up there. And then when I transferred into real estate, I look back and I'm so grateful that I treated people good when I did, because it just carries over in life. And from there, it's just boomed.
Yeah, and the thing too with military and real estate, it's like these people are always on the move.
Every few years.
You're like getting deals left and right.
Every few years. That pipeline is constantly turning. In the middle, I do not go anywhere typically in June, July, and August because that's one of our biggest PCS seasons. So that's when people are transferring in from other states and other air bases and out. So you're exactly right. Somebody could have bought a house with me 2-3 years ago, and they call me, "Hey, got my orders." If I get that call, I know that it's a quick turnaround. They probably need to be gone within 2 months.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and if they bought 2-3 years ago with you, they're very happy.
They're so happy. Oh my gosh, they're so happy. And a lot of these kids use their VA loan 0% down 2-3 years ago.
They just
and they're
made a
walking
couple
with
$100,000.
$60,000, $70,000,
Yeah.
$80,000, and they're looking at me with like, I can't. I'm like, you're blessed, man. You're totally blessed. You hit it right at the right time.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
Timing's everything in
Yeah.
a lot of investments, for
Yeah.
sure. So, that's kind of what you're doing now. You got a lot going on. Being a
Yeah.
mom, me as a dad now, I have super respect for, parents who have careers and everything, especially, homeschooling
Yeah.
and moms in general. It was funny because my wife is a stay-at-home mom, and, people are like, "Okay, does your wife work?" And I'm like, I think she works harder than me.
Oh, absolutely. I'm
Like-
sorry. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. It is absolutely, because it never goes away.
Yeah.
Like it never stops, Like I think that sometimes we go to work, have a great day, even driving in peace and quiet. I don't think some people realize that that's like a break. We're a stay-at-home mom.
Nonstop. These
Never.
kids are just
Never.
crazy.
Unless you go out on Wednesday nights, right? You guys have date nights?
We do a Friday night now.
Friday nights.
Yeah.
It's crucial. It's crucial to get her out of the house for a little bit.
Yeah, and then, on weekends is my turn to be kind of stay-at-home dad. So I don't really work on the weekends. I just stay home. I watch the kids, and I do a pretty bad job at that too, because even then, my job on the weekends to kind of relieve her of her duty, but
Yeah.
then she just still gets sucked. She's like,
Yeah.
"What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, you're
Yeah.
just not even doing it right." It's easier for
And I
me to
hate
go
to
do
say
it.
it. They're probably not going to be saying dad. They're always going to be saying mom. It's always mom.
Well, so
Oh, well.
Well, no. So this is actually a funny thing in our house. They never say mama. They always say
Really?
dada. And so, she'll tell me they just been yelling dada all day.
That's funny. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's totally unique. That's not
Yeah.
the normal.
Right. And I don't even know if they know what they're saying. They're only 2.5 and 1, but
Yeah. Yeah.
it's still good to hear from me anyways.
Yeah.
probably rougher on her.
Yeah. It's crazy though. That stay-at-home mom. My TC, my assistant's actually a stay-at-home mom. She came to me a few years ago and wanted a job. She was a manager at one of the casinos and just managing thousands of people. And she goes, I really want to transition into being a stay-at-home mom, but I would still like a job. And I needed a new TC at the time, and she loves it. She loves being able to be at home, but she is a bulldog on my files. So that's been a good relationship.
Good. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So obviously got everything going on right now. We're going to talk about later in the podcast about future and goals and different things. But how did you even get to this point? Like, I'm always curious how people become realtors because nobody wants to be a realtor growing up. It's not a career.
Yeah. And my dad was a realtor. So trust me, I did not want to be a realtor.
My mom was a realtor. I didn't want to be a realtor.
No. You do the opposite, right? You see them do something, I wanted nothing to do with it. It was never on the horizon for me at all. And you and I were just talking about this off camera just for a quick second, but in 2000, so the story kind of begins in 2009 or 10, when the market was definitely not even at its lowest, but still heading downward. One of my coworkers was going to short sell her house. And I'd been to her house. It was a little 2-bedroom, 2-bath. She was going to short sell her house. And she told me what price she was going to sell it at. And it was like $75,000.
Is it this in Vegas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a 2-bedroom, 2-bath house. So I went home to Nick and I'm like, so-and-so is going to sell her house for $75,000. And all I knew was at that time I had enough in my savings account to put 25% down. Right. And so I went and did some quick math. I mean, talking like napkin math, right? I have no idea. Yeah. Napkin math. Okay, my mortgage would be, and I'm not even, this is facts, I think everything all in was just under $500. And we were going to turn, and even in that market, we were going to turn around and rent it out for like $1,000. Again, ballpark round numbers. So I went, holy crap, there's something to be said here. So for the next few years, Nick and I kind of got this taste for something. There was no Bigger Pockets. There was no Ryan Pineda podcast. There was nothing like this kind of guiding people. It just was napkin math that made sense.
Yeah, you're like, this is common sense.
Yeah, this totally makes sense. Yeah.
This house was freaking $300,000 a couple years ago.
Yeah, and I can own a house for $75,000.
Yeah.
So anyways, we put our minds to it to buy a house a year at that time. So we were like, we're going to buy one house a year. So we were really boring mid-20-year-olds because we didn't go and spend our money.
Not many people have that goal.
Yeah. Nick and I are like, we're like-minded, and I'm just really glad that he's my partner in life because we can bounce and get excited over things like that, So we were super excited. That was our goal, and that's what we did. We started buying houses every single year. And at some point, this is what we were just talking about, he's a firefighter, and I'm a planner. That's my military mindset, just always planning things out. And we were making our bed one night, and it was like a spitball conversation. I said, babe, God forbid anything ever happens to you. Or let's talk this out. If something happened to me, what would you do with everything that we have in life? If something happened to you, what should we do in life, And I thought, man, we own, and I don't know, maybe 5 houses back then. 5 houses or 6 houses. Maybe I should go get my real estate license. In the event something were to happen, I could save commissions on selling this if I had to liquidate assets, if I had to pay off our house so the kids and I could stay here. I don't know. I'm just trying to ballpark. So I'm like, I'm going to go get my license. That's why.
Before you tell the rest, isn't it funny, that was the thought? But when you look about it and you think about it, you're like, that's not even a backup plan.
I know.
To go sell some houses.
Yeah.
That ain't gonna make you survive the rest.
Oh, and I wasn't gonna leave my job. This was gonna be a side hustle. And and I even said this. I said this to him. We're making our bed, and I said, if I do 2 deals a year, that's extra savings, But I'll just have this just in case.
Right.
So that was the thought. So then I went back up to Creech because I was still working full time, and I would sit there after flights and missions and debriefs. And I would be studying for my real estate exam. And people saw me doing this. So people saw me studying for my real estate exam. And while I was studying, people started swiveling their chair up and coming up to me and going, hey, I need to sell a house. I need to sell my house. I need to buy a house. I'm like, obviously because I work with you. That I'm I haven't even gotten my license yet. They did not care. They did not care. This is one of the biggest lessons I think that I've really learned in life, and it's about trust. People want to trust somebody. Because, Ryan, I didn't even have my license. They were watching me try to take my exam.
Yeah.
Before, this is a true story. Before I ever actually submitted and got to hang my license in a brokerage, I had 7 deals.
Wow.
And I put everything underneath my broker's name.
Yep.
And I gave them a huge cut to train off of. Like, I'm just going to follow you, show me what I'm doing.
Yep.
But what the people that came to me wanted was somebody to have their back. They wanted somebody to, like, be on their side.
Also, who understood their experience and what they were going through.
True. So 7 deals before I ever had my license. And that definitely was like an aha moment. Like, oh, this could be something. And you're exactly right. I started to do a little research and I'm like, I just don't know of any agent that really coins themselves a military expert. So that was kind of like a light bulb. Nobody's really coining themselves this specialty expert in VA or is a veteran to be able to talk PCSs, TDYs, all of their lingo.
Right.
I can. So that kind of like, I don't know, the seed was planted, watered, the light bulb went on, and I thought, there's something to this.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. My path to real estate was kind of similar in that, all right, I'll get my license. It's a good side hustle. I can still do my career that I really want, which was baseball. For you, it was the military.
Yeah.
But I think we both understood, both of those careers have a lifespan. So, like, what are we doing after? And unlike you, I wasn't buying in 2010.
Yeah.
I didn't even have a goal of like, oh, it'd be cool to like buy a house a year. I just wasn't even thinking about those things. Yeah. And what I did learn was being a realtor is really hard if you're just trying to attract random people who don't know you. I tell our realtors this all the time at Forever Home. You really want to just go after a certain niche.
Yep.
Like
Absolutely.
I say this in social media and business and everything. Like, first off, before you create a product or marketing or service, who's your avatar, right? So if you are, let's just take this show, for example. This show has an avatar. What is it? Well, it's probably somebody with an entrepreneurial mindset. It's probably somebody who wants to invest. It's somebody who probably takes social media, understands the power of it. And just demographically, I know that it's probably somebody between 21 to 35 because the analytics tell me that. And I also know that the majority of them are dudes.
Yeah.
And so there's a reason Facebook, Google, all these companies are so valuable. It's because they have the data. They know exactly who the customer is. And so if I know that, it's very likely that person is watching me. And by the way, if you fit that criteria and you're watching this on YouTube, comment below and be like, yep, that's me. Odds are it's you. So, you can tailor whatever it is you're doing to your demographic. But what I always tell our realtors is like, look, you may not have all these analytics yet, but you have hobbies and interest and things that, make you. And if you want to go, and for me, I always say this, if I was a realtor all over again, what I would do at this point is I'd be going after ex-baseball players. I'd be trying to get anyone who wants to move to Vegas that's in sports. I would also go after business owners and people who are, financially savvy. And I would also go after social media influencers, the YouTubers, the TikTokers, and all these guys, because I can relate to all those people from my own experiences. And a lot of realtors are just like, freaking, whoever.
Yeah.
I'm down to work with whoever. You want to buy a $50,000 condo? I'm down with that. You want to buy a $5 million house? I'm down. It doesn't work like that.
Right.
You can only have a lane that you go down. You cannot appeal to everybody.
Yeah. Well, we're human and people are always looking for that trust factor. That's what I tell my team and my girls. If you're getting your kids into soccer, guess what? Those soccer parents all need to know that that's your thing. That's going to be your thing because you're going to be there every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday for games, cheering with their kids. And that's that commonality that I think naturally people want. That's who we gravitate towards,
Yeah, and I think commonality, obviously, we're talking about hobbies and careers, but the reality is, too, commonality is people that look like you as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I get Filipinos and all these people who enjoy working out and different, like people who look like me. They want to work with me. And right or wrong, that's just kind of the way society works. And so if you're trying to get somebody, like I tell our Spanish agents, I'm like, yo, if you're going to go really deep on the Hispanic community, go all in.
Yeah.
Make your ads in Spanish. Go get those neighborhoods where you know that they're interested in. Do marketing there, because you will have an advantage over somebody else.
Yep.
It is what it is. And, it's just you have to start thinking like a business person.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people in society today, they get offended by things like that. And it's like, well, people are humans.
Yeah. And I oh my gosh, that is such a good point. I've, again, told my team, I just told you, my husband's going to be gone 6 out of 7 days this week. I'm a mom.
Right.
I have a 9 and an 11-year-old little boy. If I have to go from one appointment to picking up them from soccer to meet you to go show a house, guess what? My kids are going to be in tow. And I throw that stuff on social media.
Yep.
Because this is the thing. This is me. And if you want to deal with me, this is who you're getting. You're going to get a mom. You're going to get somebody who's going to hustle and work her ass off with her kids, but you're going to get a mom.
Yep.
And I will get clients because of that. And I probably will lose clients because of that. But this is the thing. I don't think the people that I lose, I wasn't supposed to work with anyways. I don't need to work with them anyways.
Right.
So that stuff, I love it. Just be yourself, be out there, try to find like-minded people, go into that very specific niche. I created a niche. Nick said when I walked away from that career, because it was a career at Creech Air Force Base. I was making 6 figures. It was a beautiful, cool, awesome. I loved everything about it. When I walked away from that, he said, well, what's your goals? What are your thoughts here? And I told him, I said, I want Creech Air Force Base. So I walked away from Creech, but I never put Creech in the rearview mirror.
Right.
I wanted to target, and that's kind of fun. I wanted to target all of those.
You do.
That's what I used to do, and now I'm going to target those people. But it was my goal and my ambition, and still is to this day, which is why I am an honorary commander of the 22nd Attack Squadron. It's why I stay infiltrated as much as I can up there. So
yeah. No, I'm with you. It's super smart to do that, and I think it just leads to so much more success. And you're just working with people that you want to work with, right? At the end of the day, if I look at all my companies and the type of people and customers and clients we attract, they're all kind of similar to me in a way. They share some kind of commonality in that maybe they're young, maybe we get a lot of Christians because I'm always talking about faith. Mm-hmm. We get a lot of, married people that, have kids and young families. And so that's just, you are going to attract what you are. Mm-hmm. And so if you're attracting drama all the time, then you probably are drama. So,
Mm-hmm.
just check yourself if you don't like the people that are around you, because it's probably you.
Yep.
But, I think that's great. What would you say, I know you're attracting a lot of military people and everything. Have you tried to branch into other aspects like luxury, real estate? Because I don't think a lot of military people are buying multi-million-dollar homes.
Not at all. And I was fine with that. For the first few years, I was completely fine with that because, again, that was just who I am. And again, I took a listing 2 days ago and was sitting across the table from first-time homebuyers VA loan, about to sell for their first time, holding their little tiny baby, going to make some money. And they're like, I think we're going to go to Texas and just rent this time around. And I'm like, why? You're going to have your VA. I love, there's a big part of what I do that I still love. So you're going to get that energy and all that stuff. And it wasn't that luxury doesn't, spark my interest. Of course. Come on, of course. But I wasn't chasing it. This year, naturally, just being in the business and have built up, I think, enough of a name. Yeah. I've naturally started to pick up more high-end listings. I just closed a $1.4 million listing last week, I think last Friday. And I made long time friendships with those sellers and those people, and they're already handing my name out and this, that, the other. So, I just like people. I think that's another reason why I do good in real estate, know.
It's a people business.
I think, and somebody told me that before, when you're in real estate long enough, you're going to get $1 million deal at some point, I think mine happened a little bit faster, just because it goes back to your name and your brand and who you are, and you're easily searchable. I picked up a buyer yesterday it was a Zillow search, and he's like, you're a vet, military, you seem to be everything that we want, you're 5-star, this, that, the other, and those reviews, which are real life, are out there, know? So.
Yeah, and once again, it goes back to once you start selling, one, it turns into more because now you have a track record. So it's like the first time doing something is always the hardest. And this is what I tell people with all business. You know, that first house flip is always the hardest. Yeah. After you like experience it, you're like, oh, that wasn't that bad. Or even if you lost or did something, you're like, you know, I screwed up every way and I'm still here.
Yeah.
And I know I can do it better next time.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's funny because I'm not even a realtor anymore, but I still get people who are like, hey, you know, I want to buy a house in Vegas. I know you have a brokerage. Like, you know, who would you recommend? And so, you know, I'll send out these leads to people and stuff. And I get quite a few $1 million plus referrals just because it's great. Like who I attract is like a wealthy type client who, you know, whatever. And I just think about it like when I was a realtor, I could not even sniff that. Yeah. And now it's like, I'm not even a realtor. I don't even want it. But and because I'm putting that out there.
Yep.
So it's crazy. Yeah. I want to talk about, you know, what it looks like going forward, because now you're in like your 5th or 6th year doing this, and you know, you're having a ton of success. It's growing, and this is kind of a point for most business owners where they have to decide, like, do I want to take this to the next level? Am I, you know, satisfied where I'm at? Do I want to start trading, you know, money, or, you know, get my time back? You know, I'm okay not making as much, or maybe staying where I'm at, but having more time. So I want to hear where you're at, but first, let's hear a quick word from our sponsor. Have you ever wanted to invest in real estate, but you didn't have the time to find deals yourself? That's where Fundrise comes in. Fundrise is a crowdfunding platform that has transacted over $5 billion in real estate and has over 150,000 active investors. While many funds, like my own, require accredited investors, Fundrise allows anyone to invest with as little as $500. If you'd like to learn more, check out fundrise.com. Once again, that's fundrise.com. A quick word from our sponsor. One of the best ways to get off-market real estate deals is through cold calling. And if you want to reach as many people as fast as possible, then you need Batch Dialer. With their predictive dialing technology and built-in CRM, Batch Dialer is one of the top dialers in the industry. You can switch between single or multi-line dialing, as well as do voicemail drops and call recordings. And for being a listener of The Ryan Pineda Show, you'll get a 7-day free trial. Just go to batchdialer.com/Ryan. Once again, that's batchdialer.com/Ryan. Now, back to the show. All right, so what's next for you? What are you trying to do?
So once I walked from Creech and started real estate full time, I was by myself. Then you get to about 60 deals and you're like, I can't do all the paperwork. You get a TC, right?
Right.
Then I got a TC. Then I went and plateaued again. Okay, now I can't get above 80 deals. I need another agent, took on another agent. So, you know, every time I've kind of hit those plateaus, it makes you push through them. What's that next level? What does that look like, right? But I think the overall idea for Nick and myself is the real estate income that I produce has given us the availability of a lot more money to invest. And really, Nick and I's long-term goals are retiring young enough together to enjoy life. And when I say retire, I think anybody who has an entrepreneur mind never is really going to retire. But there's like a different form of retirement, right? I don't have to show up anywhere. I have enough money to live on and whatever other side hustles we're doing, right? Because we're always going to be working. We're always going to be working.
Retiring is when you can do what you want.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yep.
And if you want to work, great.
Cool.
Yeah.
So now that I've built a team, one, I get super excited about how much money I can get them to make. So right now I'm building them up as agents, and I get really excited to see that I now have 6-figure agents, all because of my brand. Like that's super exciting to me. It's not just about the money that I'm making, it's about them. So everybody's doing well, everybody's eating at the table. Now I'm going to take my money and I want to go buy more investments. And that's where we're at right now. Our little snowball effect, I've been able to really concentrate again in 2021 on buying. In 2020, I think a lot of people went, it's time to save. Like, let's hunker down, let's save. What's this look like? Let's wait out the storm. In 2021, everybody's like on fire. And that's what we're in the same exact boat. So it's buy. And the team knows that because that's what I'm focusing on, I may not be the one taking out the buyers to see houses and pick up listings, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm still going to make a cut off of that, but I want to use my money to reinvest so that I can get to my goals and retire. Nick has 8 years until he retires on the fire department, and I've paralleled my retirement game plan with his. Like, how cool would that be for us to both pull shocks? Oh yeah, I don't plan anything, Ryan, not at all. But like, how cool would that be for us both just to be like, all right,
we're both done.
We're done. What do you want to go do, babe?
I'm sure the kids are already graduated by then too. That's already part of the plan.
1 year in high school, but yes, close.
Everyone can do, like, you're like, are you going to kick them out? Like, what's the deal?
No, so Nick actually bought years. So we expedited his retirement because we could, because that's what real estate has afforded us. So we bought him years. So he'll be retiring younger than he would if he had to do his full time. I've already preached to my kids. They can stay if they're productive, kind, hardworking human beings. They can stay under my roof as long as they want if they've got a plan and they're doing something with their life.
Yeah.
You know.
But you're like, we just might not be there. We're out.
That's exactly right. But you know what's so cool right now, to kind of not circle all the way back to the homeschooling thing, but we are traveling so much with them right now.
Yeah.
Because again, I can, because I have a team lined up. So there is no school time, hours, system, months of the year that I have to plan travel around.
Right.
And then I have my own schedule. I don't talk to anybody about my schedule. And Nick, he works hard, but then we can get him good chunks of time off.
Right.
So we're traveling a ton right now as family. So you're right. I mean, I think once it gets to that point where we're good financially and we can, quote, retire, I'm ready to go and see some parts of the world with Nick and live life. I mean, I have one life, you know? I have one life.
Yeah.
I want to get out there and take the 50,000 pictures of all the different places, you know?
Yeah.
So.
You know, I haven't had to deal with this yet with school because my kids aren't in, you know, the normal school system yet. But now that I think about it, too, I'm like, man, because I live my life by, like, I'm just doing what I want.
Yep.
Like, I don't care. To me, I'm retired at this point. I just only do things I want. And, you know, I'm, like, thinking now with my kids, because my wife can do what she wants, too. But it's like, all right, yeah, if my kids are stuck in school, do I have the – am I like, all right, you guys are skipping school. Like, we need to go on vacation.
We got written up. So when my kids were in Aurora, because that's me. I'm that mom. I'm sorry. I'm
that's
that mom.
That's how I feel, too.
I'm that mom. And 2 years ago, we got a yellow letter. Like, it legit came in the mail, yellow letter, and was like, your kids can't miss any more school. And I was like, they're going to be at Disneyland next Tuesday. You know, like, I'm sorry. I could be gone tomorrow. I'm going to go do that stuff with them. So, and even now when I homeschool, we invite all of our, like, dear friends to come with us on all these trips.
Yeah.
And 85 to 90% of the time, the text back is, oh, the kids don't get out of school till Friday, or, oh, we can't do it this, that. You know, the other cool flip side to homeschooling is we will travel when everybody's in school. And then when everybody is out, like we have Labor Day coming up, everybody's going to be traveling during Labor Day. I'm not. I'm going to hunker down during Labor Day. I can travel another time, you know? So that's kind of fun too.
Yeah, I'm like now thinking, man, maybe I will homeschool so I could just do what I want. Like, because my wife would never do it. We'd have to like hire so Mindy was a teacher. She was a 8th grade teacher for 3 years. So, I mean, she's got experience in it, but neither of us want to do that.
Age brackets are different too. I mean, my kids are 9 and 11. They're self-sufficient little men is how I say it, you know? So
yeah,
it's not like teaching a 5-year-old.
Yeah. Man, the only reason I would homeschool now is like just selfishly like, I just don't want to deal with their scheduling. We're just doing what we want.
Yeah. And even now, like Nick and I always played ball growing up. And they're in soccer, they do horseback riding, and we are people, if we're committed to a team, we're not gonna miss games because that's not a team player. You need to be there if you're practicing together and you know your team's relying on you. So when we get even into sports, selfishly, I'm always like, dang it, we can't go anywhere for like the next 6 weeks, you know, because I don't want them missing their games, you know? So that's kind of the times that we like hunker down. But yeah, you ask kind of where am I going? I'm building this brand and this team. I want my teammates to thrive. I want everybody to do well. I want us to produce a good product. I want to be there for people. I want to hopefully grow. You know, I'm doing my YouTube channel now, so I'm trying to grow my YouTube channel and do all of these things. But at the end of the day, it's really to feed my investments, and it's to feed more time, more quality time with my husband while I have like days on this earth. Yeah. You know?
I'm with you. So as far as growing the business goes, I mean, we know that you want to retire in 8 years. And do you have like a desire to be like the biggest and best agent in Las Vegas, or do you have other goals? Like, what is it?
I think, and like I told you a little bit ago, I said I want Creech. That's kind of a funny thing, but it's real. I want Creech. There are thousands of people up at Creech Air Force Base doing a mission that I know and believe in and put my heart and soul into. There shouldn't be one other name or brokerage brought up in any squadron amongst any meal without my name coming up, you know?
Right.
So that's always been a goal to me, to be like the number one agent feeding and working in and out of Creech, you know? Goals long-term in terms of real estate. I mean, obviously I have monetary goals, you know, and numeric goals and how much business I want to do. But, I mean, this year I'm just kind of blown away. I'm honestly going to have to sit back and reevaluate those, because this year we're crushing so many of our goals, you know? It's August, and we've already like broken down so many doors. It's great.
Yeah. So we were talking about this off camera. You know, you've already beat your goal, and there's still 4 months to go.
Yeah. Did I aim too low?
Well, so this is always the chicken and the egg thing that comes with goal setting. You know, there's the popular saying, create SMART goals, right? Man, I'm gonna have to think of them off the top of my head. S is specific. Then M is measurable, A is attainable, R is relatable, I think, and then T is time-bound. So, or relevant, I guess. Relatable, relevant, like, why do you even want this goal? Does it make sense? And you have that motto, which is essentially like, hey, set a goal that, like, makes sense. You're going to do it in a certain amount of time. It's attainable, you know, whatever. And then you have the Grant Cardone method, where it's like 10x that goal.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
You want to do $1 million, do 10 million.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I'm not going to do 10 million. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
Whatever, right? And the thing though with his style is, well, yeah, you're probably not going to do 10, but instead of picking $1 million, you might end up doing 2.
Yeah.
Or 3 because you were striving for 10.
Yeah. I think so. I've done both. I'll be honest. I think you came to a panel that I had talked on a few years ago, and they asked us that kind of numeric goal. How many deals do you want to do next year? Mind you, this was 2019. And I said, I'm going to double down. Like, I'm going to do double. And I had all these strategies in place to double down. So my brain was like, I'm going to double my numbers, double. And then COVID hit. And like everything changed, and actually I stayed really busy. I did the exact same amount, like to the T, that I did in 2019 that I did in 2020, which I thought was a huge blessing, you know? But it was enough of like a whack on the head or the face that's like, here's real life curveball, you know?
Yeah.
That I had these like ambitions for that doubling down, and I didn't get it. So it just made me reevaluate, and I'm like, okay, I want something truly, no kidding, attainable, because I want to hit it, not just for myself,
right?
Like, but for my team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to hit that for my team.
Yeah.
So I kind of did both. Double. COVID hit, smacked me in the face a little bit. And I'm like, all right, now let me try to figure out something that's like truly attainable, because that's a good feeling, you know?
Yeah, I agree. Like, you know, I have weekly goals. Like, I break my goals down from the year to the quarter to the month to the week to the day, right? And I think that helps me stay on track to hit whatever the big goal was. Yeah. But yeah, it's not a good feeling when you're never hitting your goal because it's so high. So I think you do need to create like maybe the attainable goals, and then just like some outrageous goal that like you're striving for. And I think it will like help you start thinking differently. You know, one that comes to mind for me was, you know, my dream house I'm building.
Yeah.
When I first, I set this goal and before COVID struck, I'm like, hey, been in my house for a couple of years now. I usually move every couple of years. That's just how I've always done it. And, you know, I want to get like a home with a view. I saw these McDonald Highlands homes with views. I'm like, these are so cool. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, and I looked at the price. I'm like, okay, these things are like $2 to $3 million. I'm not there yet. Like, I can't fathom spending that much money on a home. And, you know, I was like, but it would be so cool to have this. And it was like a big goal. And then I was like, well, but it doesn't really have a big backyard. So I need, if I'm going to do it, I need one with like an acre, a view, it's got to be ridiculous. And then
Somehow
I'm like,
this manifested into a literal
yeah.
mountain.
Well, but I would have never imagined that. I was just like, man, this would be so cool. I don't know how it would happen.
Yeah.
I don't have any game plan for making this real, but it was a vision I had at the beginning of 2020. Well, fast forward, whenever I get a vision, I just start like not going hard for it, but like doing my preemptive search. I'm like, all right, what would it really take? And so you start looking. So for me, my research is, let's look at what's on the market. Let's look at what recently sold. Let's look at expireds. Let's just see what's happened. And then I realize I'm like, yeah, what I want doesn't exist. Like,
I'm gonna have to make that.
Yeah, because they don't sell acre lots in there
with a view.
Yeah, they don't, because they would rather chop them up and they'll make more money. And I go, okay, well, at least I now know I'm looking for land. I'm not looking for a house. And so I started looking for land. I'm like, okay, what does an acre cost? Heck, if I'm gonna get an acre, what does 2 acres cost? And then I start realizing, I'm like, man, there's not many of these either. And so I go on this land binge for, like 6 months of just casually looking, not forcing anything. And then sure enough, like this opportunity presents itself. I knew it the moment I saw it. We get a great deal on it and we buy it. And then, I'm like, great, I got the land. I'm going to need to go get the money to build this now because this is like super expensive. And then
I've seen your posts. Hopefully I can afford this.
Yeah. I hope I can afford it, guys. So might have to sell my kidney.
Right.
But so I end up start looking and, interviewing builders and all these things. And sure enough, my architect, I'm like, hey, let's do like a 7,500 square foot home. Like this is a big home. And we
doubled that.
Yeah, well, more. So we ended up going through the architect and stuff. And as I get into it, I'm like, man, if I'm going to do this, I might as well just get everything I want. And then the competitive nature of me goes, this is like a one-of-a-kind piece of land. Like, I might as well just build the best house ever. And that was like my mindset. And I also thought about when this house is done in 2-3 years, where's my wealth going to be then?
Yeah.
Am I going to be like mad I skimped out?
Yeah.
Because you only got one shot to like build what you can build there. And so eventually I was like, you know what? We're all in. I'm just letting my imagination run free. I'm shooting for the stars. And I'm going to build literally just the best home that I could even dream up or imagine. And that's what we did. And so I think now it's like the main house is like 13,000. The guest is like over 1,000. And then the basketball court gym area is like 9,000. So
crazy.
It's like 20,000 plus. And yeah, it's going to be expensive, but
you are going to move this there, right?
What do you mean?
Like, you should do your podcast and stuff there, too.
Oh,
Walk around your slippers, just shuffle into your podcast.
Well, no, so then that's another, it's going to be too much chaos with all the kids and, dogs. And, dude, I can't work from home. So, no, then, so whatever, that's going. And we'll see what it ends up costing me. But, it's going to happen.
How are you going to pay off the neighbor who doesn't like the roof line? There's a roof line issue right now, right? Or a view issue.
No, so those are two separate things.
Oh.
So my house, I can do whatever I want. There's no HOA. There's no neighbors. I do anything. What I now have is my office. So after going through this development process for the last year of buying this land, getting plans and permits, I'm like, man, okay, developing's like not as bad as I thought. And I'm starting to think about this office, and I'm like, we're growing pretty quick. Like, okay, what's our next office look like? And so I start playing in my mind again. I'm like, well, I would like a bigger studio. I would like a event center to do, like a 200-person event and, all these things. Because I just paid a boatload of money to hold my next event in freaking downtown. Yeah, the end of this month. And so I'm like, man, I need, why do I want to pay these guys? What if I had it all in-house? That'd be sick. So then my mind starts wandering again, and I'm like, okay, let's see what's available. So I go on LoopNet, start looking at office space. I'm like, these all suck. These are too uncreative. So I'm like, all right, I need land. So I go look for land, and then sure enough, there's no land I want either, like on market. So what do? What I do best, freaking start cold calling sellers and like finding deals. So whatever, locked up a deal for office space land, but there's a restriction. This guy has a great strip view. We can't block him.
Oh.
And that was part of the deal.
Totally thought that was with your house. So this is with the office.
This is with the office.
Oh, okay.
And they're easy to confuse. They're both just ridiculous. So I, whatever. He rejected the first proposal. He's like, it blocks too much view. So we're going to redo it again and try and create just basically like Apple, Google headquarters in Las Vegas. Because why not?
Why not?
Like at the end of the day, why not?
I think a few years ago I was at your Big Bear retreat, and I think you may have had 3 of the 7 businesses you have now. So why not?
Why not? If you can, and so that's the hard thing too in life is to like project your growth, because you want to be optimistic, but you also want to be like, okay, what happens if it doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
And it's super tough to think about, because when you're doing development, you have to make the decision for 2-3 years down the road when it's done.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah.
With no information. So you're either going to bet that, man,
I'm going to keep killing it.
I'm going to keep killing it and it's going to be good, or you're betting that, you know what, let's be safe.
And plan it to this year's restrictions,
Yeah.
which would be kind of crazy.
Yeah, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I'll bet on myself.
Yeah.
So, yeah, development's weird that way. Versus, you buy a single family house today that you want to live in. You're like, great. Like,
Yeah.
This is what I can afford today. This is great. If I want to sell it 2 years from now because I'm in a better place, cool, whatever.
Yeah. What you're talking about though, I'm such a visual person. I'm like seeing this snowball, and you're like already more than halfway down the mountain. Your snowball is like it's picked up so much speed and so much size. There's no stopping it. And I've said that. I've even said that to the crew here. I'm like, there's really no stopping Ryan at this point. Like you've created this like huge thing, whereas maybe I'm like, just over the mountain, starting to pick up speed. Still need attainable
building
goals.
your snowman?
Yeah, exactly. Do you want to build one, Ryan?
I've already played that. I've already gone down that road.
So, but like you're just at that point though where you're really not stoppable. And I think that I'm still just trying to make a little bit of strategic moves and things like that. I hope that I get there really soon. But the other thing to that is that you can't be like nervous or scared to step through like opportunity doors, like doors that just open.
Yep.
And that's what's happened to me over and over and over again. Every investment, anytime I invest, I told you I'm buying some condos here in Las Vegas. Anytime I invest, I'm going to have people that are like, well, I want to do that.
Yep.
But then they won't.
Yep.
And then I will.
Yep.
Like they just don't do it, How many of my friends I think I want to get my real estate license, then go get it. That's kind of what I say now. I say, go get it and then come talk to me.
Yeah.
Because it's just too much of my time and effort to talk. Just go do it and then come talk to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like opportunity and doors open, and you just have to be big enough to walk through them.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of courage. It does. I'm not saying it doesn't. But every time I have done that, it has blossomed into something that I never even knew was like out there.
Yeah.
Well,
and here's the thing with walking through doors. People think it's like this one-time event where they're like,
No.
okay, yeah, as long as,
No.
okay, this is so hard, I got to do it,
No.
and I do it, great. And it's like, well, guess what? Another tougher door.
Yep.
And another tougher,
Yep.
I just explained what I'm going through. I'm trying to do something that literally no one has done.
Yeah.
I don't have anybody to like give
Even
me
talk to.
encouragement. They're like,
Yeah.
hey, tell me how it went for you. It's like, no, you're in uncharted territory.
Yeah.
And so it's literally all just faith and confidence and walking through this door that, hey, it's going to work out. And guess what? There's going to be problems. There's going to be issues. I'm going to get rejected like I just did on this first plan that we spent so many hours creating to get shot down in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's part of it.
Yeah.
It's life. What are you going to do?
Yeah. Get mad and go back to the drawing board. Do it again.
But
Let's do it again.
Well, most people will get mad and quit. But
For sure.
you can't do that. So I want to see you create your snowball.
Yeah.
And I think you're trying to do it through social media.
Trying. I saw this guy with blue hair and then red hair, and I was like, maybe I could do a little something. No, I honestly definitely picked up a lot of inspiration from you, because 2020, I think everybody like retreated to their house, but again, you took it as an opportunity to go, okay, well, I'm at my house. What else can I be doing?
Yeah.
And you started to just tap into the social media stuff. And then I started to hear you say like, everybody needs to go all in on this. I'm seeing returns. You need to go all in, all in. And I reached out to you, not that long ago saying, hey, I'm about to spend this much money, which even the amount of money that I spend on it monthly to do, I don't think most people are going to do, right?
Yeah.
But you're like, if you're going to do it right, do it this way. I'm like, all right. So that's what I'm doing. Like, I'm a brand new baby on YouTube, but I have so much information to give, and I have my phone just rings and dings all day long, that this will just be a better platform to get it out there on. Truly, honestly, I think. The other day I had a 25-minute conversation with somebody who wanted to talk about short-term rentals versus long-term rentals. And I was able to go like, hey, I have a YouTube video. I just shot a YouTube video on this. Go watch that 45-minute clip because I need to go check on these condos, you know?
That's the biggest thing that for sure social media has helped with especially YouTube, since that it's long form, you can explain things. Like,
yes.
I kept getting asked the same thing you did with, how should I become a realtor? How should I do this? Blah, blah, blah. And you're like, dude, just go do it. I don't have time, right?
Yeah.
And I kind of took it a little step further where I was like, you know what? I'm just going to write a book and just show them how to do it. So I never had to explain it once again after that.
Yep.
Like, read the book.
Yep.
Whether you do anything with it or not, it's on you. Social media also gives that opportunity where you don't have to go write a book. You can create a video tomorrow of what you keep getting asked. And so when I look at my content, it's literally stuff that I'm getting asked constantly.
Yep.
And I'm like, hey, all right, you guys want to know about this? Let's make a video. Now I'll never have to answer it again.
Yep. And it's still a kind of a personal touch at the same time. They're seeing your face. They're hearing it from you, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm there for it, but 45-minute conversations about the same thing over and over and over again, I've already seen the benefit with YouTube and just that. You know,
Same
here,
thing
go
about
watch the video.
It took you a while to make that video.
Yeah.
But, man,
I will reuse.
to never to do it again.
Yeah, Stu just had me do a great one, which was the first time home buyer process for VA.
Right.
How many times do I have that conversation? Which I love having. But if you could watch this video first, this might cut down on a lot of the questions. What
I would suggest you do is, and I don't know if you've already done it or not, but, you know, on your main website for however people are finding you, I would create a very, it could be 5 to 10 minute video of who Falisha Rexford is and why you should work with her, what differentiates her from every other realtor. And you will see how many people it attracts, like how many more leads you get, but also how many people you get out of your way that are time wasters, because you also in that video, you should disqualify. And so like every single one of my companies has a landing page with a video. Yeah. And the video's purpose is to, tell them about us, get them excited, make them want to get on a call with my team. But it also disqualifies them in multiple ways of like, I have one that we send to people who DM me. And we're like, hey, just so you know, our courses are expensive. They're $1,000. We've got coaching that's up to $25,000. Like, if that's something you're interested in, great. If not, no big deal. But if you are, here's all the benefits and everything you're going to get. And sure enough, we know we're talking to a qualified person.
Right. Yep.
And we never have to do it again.
Totally. Totally different. I mean, same concept, different play, I guess. I wanted something stupid. I wanted a mural painted on my backyard wall.
Okay.
And this guy does these murals all over Las Vegas. And I reached out to him and I said, hey man, I want a mural painted on my wall. And I'm a business person. He probably gets that all the time with people thinking that it's going to be a cheap little thing. I was an art major before the Air Force. I've already lived a few lives.
Okay.
And he's like, hey, thanks for reaching out. Just so you know, my murals start at $3,000.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't even bother me.
Yeah.
One, I'd rather you do that. Two, as soon as I'm like, yeah, I figured. Next step. Now he knows that he's working with somebody who's willing to pay that commission.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I love that. I love that he was so blunt with that, because in business, I think we tiptoe around that bluntness sometimes. But it's a time saver. It's an energy saver.
Well, and too, even with like commissions, right? It's a huge deal with realtors. Like, look, if you're a 3% agent, tell them out the bat. Like, yo, I charge 3%. Here's why. Yeah. You want a 1%? I don't care.
Yep.
Kick rocks.
That $1.4 million listing that I just closed, I mean, he wanted to negotiate commissions all day long, and I wouldn't do it. I said, I'm not going to do it because I'm going to give you a full service listing. I'm going to be here every step of the day. And I even showed up on a Saturday with some people to help them, like, pack boxes. Like, but I'm not going to negotiate my commission because that's my time and energy away from my family. Yeah. When you think of it that way, what's that worth?
More than that.
Right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think about this all the time with, time and money. Like, what am I really valuing my time at? Yeah. Because if I look at it for how much I actually make, like I way undercharge for what I'm willing to sell my time for. So it's an interesting thing that we do that.
But I like that expectations model. I like that.
Yeah, I would highly
Establish the
suggest doing it,
expectations.
and look to disqualify people. You know, we've done that in all the businesses of like, hey, here's risks that come along with this, like Pineda Capital, right? You better be accredited or don't talk to us. We can't even take you. So it's 50,000 minimum. You have to be accredited. Like, don't submit if that's you.
Yep.
And then we tell them, here's why we're better.
Yeah.
So it's just the same model over and over again. And I think that's why I've been able to start multiple businesses, because I've realized these all run the freaking same way.
Yeah.
They all have the same kind of marketing. They all have operations. They all have marketing. They have sales. And you're just selling a different product or service. That's it.
And you're seeing a need and you're just filling that void. So
Yeah.
and most of it seems like it stemmed from your businesses. Oh, I need this. I'm going to make this. I need this. I'm just going to make this.
Yeah. Or everybody else, who's your guy? Who's your guy? I'm like, well, I guess I'm the guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, for sure. I'm always just like, listen to the demand and your customers and all those things. But I think what you're going to see as you go down this social media path is, number one, it's super hard. And if you're still with me to this podcast right now, kudos.
Yeah.
You're the real ones. But if you are a successful business person, it's so difficult to start social media once you've already had business success, because you will not make money.
Right.
In you're going to
where's
spend
the
more
return?
time,
Yes.
more effort on this,
Yeah.
and you will not make money.
Yeah.
But you have to believe that in the long run, it will be worth it. And it's so simple. Like, I see all my business friends who get all hyped up, and these aren't your normal people who get hyped up to do something and then don't do it, right?
Right.
That's a normal person. These
Yeah.
people are successful.
Executors.
They're
Yeah.
already good.
Yeah.
And they still get hyped up and they quit because they don't see the immediate return.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I'm
trust me, I've been asking the same thing.
Yeah.
Stu, well, when do I start seeing some more numbers? I
Yeah.
mean, it's hard not to, but that's also, I told you why I gave you, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do this for a minimum of a year, period.
Right.
So I'm
Right.
doing this for a year, whether I like it, not, don't see return, whatever. And I mean, return is kind of a hard thing for real estate. Return's always going to be what I'm making. I've already seen the benefits
Right.
of this.
Right.
They're more subtle right now. I'm expecting them to be bigger later, but I'm already seeing benefits from it.
Yeah. I remember when I got my first YouTube AdSense day that we made money, it was like $20, which was way higher than most people I saw got their first day. I've seen a lot of people who made 2 cents or
Yeah.
$1,
Yeah.
and they were like, I made money making videos.
Yeah.
And then mine was $20. I was like, we just made $20, guys. We're on the right track, baby. Let's go. I got lunch today, and so it was.
I caught that fish. You got a fish.
We got a fish, and then I remember I had my first $100 day,
Yeah.
and I was like, dude, I just made $100 from that video. That was tight.
Yeah.
And then, I remember we had a month where we made, or not a month, but I'm pretty certain I had $1,000 day from YouTube. I was like, this is stupid. And, I can't believe I just got paid $1,000 for YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Which even then,
Think about all those millionaire kids out there right now.
dude, they're making so much money. It's so
millionaire
stupid.
children.
They need to be with Pineda Capital. All you millionaire kids, freaking, you don't know what to do
Is
with your
there an
money.
age limit?
No, I don't think there's an accredited age limit. Dude, you just,
you be a
if you're a
12-year-old
millionaire,
millionaire?
friggin', yeah, if you're a millionaire and you're making YouTube videos, you probably don't know how to invest, so just give it to me. We'll do it. But it's worth it. And even still, I talked to this girl. Her name is Shelby Church. She's a famous YouTuber, got over 1 million subs. One of the only female finance YouTubers to have huge success. And I was asking her, I was like, so how long have you been on YouTube? I don't know much about your story.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, I've been on it since I was 14. I was like, how old are you now? She's like, 26. I was like,
Wow.
Dang, you've been on YouTube 12
Wow.
years?
Yeah.
And
She just never gave it up.
no, and
Wow.
I guarantee she wasn't having crazy success as a 14-year-old,
Yeah.
right? She just stuck with it.
Yeah.
Now she's killing it.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
so that's kind of inspiring, is yo, how bad do you really want it?
Yeah.
So I think it's worth it. I think also too, it will continue to get bigger and bigger, and more people will take notice of what's possible. I think all the platforms are big opportunities like TikTok and Instagram. And I'm just constantly studying like what's next. Like, podcast is a very interesting one as well. Podcast is kind of like, I would say, the most difficult to really start seeing the returns on. It's harder to be found on a podcast and all these things, but
people love them right now. They're working out, they're walking, they're listening to podcasts.
Yeah.
And
I love it. I love being able to create other pieces of content from the podcast.
Yeah.
So I enjoy it. But I would just say for you, really just stick with, one or two platforms that you're super focused on. So if it's YouTube, commit, hey, I'm making X amount of videos this week. This is what I'm going to do. And then making X amount of TikToks, whatever. And that's it. Let's let the results happen. I'm not, going to be a slave to the results.
Yeah. And that's what we're doing. We're dedicating time and days, and we have to knock out X amount in that day, So far, so good. But I mean, for all the people that are out there executing these videos at the level they are, like, my hat is off to you, because it is work. It is work. And like you said, that's why most people aren't sticking with it, because it's work, and up front, you're not really seeing a dollar amount come back from it.
I see it as similar to kind of like the actors and the actresses who, right, their dream is to be an actor one day. And so they got to cut their teeth doing all these crappy things that
commercials before you get the movie,
Yeah. And it takes years for them to break through. I mean, some actors, man, like they were doing it for 10, 20 years before they got their big break.
Right.
So, like, how long are you really willing to commit to it?
Yeah. No, that's good. I like that analogy. I'm going to remember that.
Yeah.
I'd like to be a Julia Roberts.
There you go. You could be. You never know. You never know. So, anyways, I've really appreciated having you on.
Yeah,
it's been a fun talk. I love seeing your success. And, for anyone who's looking to buy a house in Vegas or network, where can they find you?
Instagram would be a good one.
Okay.
Falisha Redford, they could DM me, find me there. My website, therexfordgrouplv.com.
It'll probably have a landing page video now.
YouTube, it will. And it will set expectations.
There you go.
My YouTube channel is just Falisha Rexford. So, I mean, if you actually spell my name correctly, Falisha, Falisha Rexford, I'm going to pop up. You'll be able to find me. So
Cool. Yeah, so we'll link to that all down below. And guys, if you've enjoyed this video, make sure you go give Falisha a follow. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, this podcast, however you're watching it. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Thanks for watching The Ryan Pineda Show. If you want to work with me, head over to ryanpineda.com. You can find my courses, coaching programs, and upcoming events. We also have free resources you can download, so head over to ryanpineda.com.